Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Laws of Life Podcast Network. My name is Blanca, and today we are starting our incredible webcast, The Laws of Physical Evidence, hosted by Dr. David Lipman. How are you, Dr. David?
Good morning, Blanca. Nice to see you. Nice to see you at all this fine day, and really excited again, as usually, to bring something that I think is going to have a lot of value to our listeners and our viewers.
But absolutely, every week you teach us new things. What are we learning today?
Well, again, a lot of the times these things organically happen, and throughout this week, we happen to have quite a few patients that were coming in with either tension headaches or neck pain or some combination thereof, and largely it's from sitting at that computer for so many hours upon hours, and finding themselves building up tension. And so one of the things that I do here in the office, I explain to them sort of the anatomy so they can get a good understanding of why these things are happening to them, but more importantly, provide not only here in the office the treatment, but provide something for them to actually do on a daily basis at home to sort of replicate some of what I do here to keep reinforcing, unwinding all that tension that's building up. And as you've told me in the past, offline that, I need to dress up the show a little bit. So I decided to bring my assistant, Serene, because I figured having her on is going to be the perfect way to dress this show up. And she's going to help me demonstrate some of the things. If I can have Serene come into the set over here, I'd like to introduce her to everybody. Everybody, this is Serene, my assistant.
Hello.
She's amazing. She's amazing around the office. She's amazing on our social media. But she's going to help us today in terms of demonstrating some of what we do here in the office, as well as how you, the viewers, can do some of this at home to help, again, unwind some of that tension. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to give you an idea on the spinal level, because most people don't understand really what's going on specifically on the inside. And today, the sort of heading for today's law of physical evidence is that posture is not just about standing up straight. It's really about improving function. And that happens not only in the musculoskeletal system, but it even starts to, over time, with poor posture, affect circulation, your digestive system, your circulation system, and other things that really are, positional for the way the body is, because the body's meant to be posturally correct, which means, again, not just standing up straight, but functioning that way. So we're going to focus today more on the musculoskeletal aspect and how people that are sitting at a computer all day start to build up tension that changes some of that posture. Now, we're going to focus today on the cervical spine area. Now, normally there's three normal curves as you go throughout the spine, looking at it from the side. And those curves are there to actually help the body bear the weight above those segments more equally through each segment. So in other words, those curves help, from a physics standpoint, help the body to line up, balance things properly of everything that's above it, and also improve movement. Now, in the cervical spine, depending on which direction you're looking at, there's a C curve. It could be a reverse C or a regular C curve. That's depending on which side you're standing. But the purpose of that is because the weight of the head is about 10 or 12 pounds. And that C curve is to help distribute the weight of the head on the cervical spine equally throughout that spinal area. Now, what happens, and people might have heard the term before, military neck, which means there's a straightening or a loss of that normal curve. And these days, more than ever, since the computer revolution, it's happening because people are kind of projecting themselves forward to the monitor to see better, or just holding very strongly posturally in that static position. And it's actually causing a straightening or loss of that normal curve. I mean, sometimes we'll see it with car accidents when there's a whiplash injury from a single trauma. But again, this is something that's happening daily to people just from the nature of sitting at a computer and doing that kind of work, sort of building up tension without a lot of movement at all. So one of the things that we do here in the office, aside from, obviously the treatments and the manipulation and getting rid of some of the muscle spasm and helping to unwind that, is we do a special maneuver after we've done all that. And I'm having Serene sit here so you can see what that looks like in terms of what we do here in the office. And I'm going to then segue into how you at home can create this whole, same thing for yourself, very simply, but very effectively. So the idea here is remembering that spine, we're trying to take a straight spine and reestablish that curve. So the curve has to be more this way, again, not this way. So the way we do it is I'm going to put my thumbs against the base of Serene's neck. She's going to look down for me, and then slowly she's going to start to look up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to maintain that pressure with my thumbs right on that lower part of her cervical spine. So she's extending all the way back, as you can see, and she's going to go forward again. And we're going to repeat this process. I'm going to go up to the next segment. So it's C7, now this is C6, as in cervical 7, cervical 6, and she's coming back again. And each time she does it, I'm maintaining pressure. So she's actually sort of extending her head and neck over my thumb. So I'm holding the spine to stabilize those segments. And as this happens, her spinal curve is starting to reestablish itself. So I'm creating the stability and she's creating the motion to help reestablish that normal C curve in the neck, which again is going to take the pressure off the joints, release the muscles from all that tension from having to do that extra work, and again, simply reestablishing that normal posture of the head and neck. Now, I usually go 1, 2, or even as much as 3 times through this as we go from the lower segments to the upper segments. And again, I'm just going to have it do about 2 more rounds here. And one more time. Okay, now I'm going to have her do it on her own. So now we're going to let her body reestablish that motion pattern. So just look down for me and then look back up and around and see how your range of motion is now. So how does that feel, Serene, in terms?
100% less tightness, that's for sure. And I even felt relief in my shoulders when you were doing it as well.
Right. So great point that Serene brings out is that, the muscles of the shoulder, many of them go directly to the base of the skull. So, the head and neck, we call it the head and neck, but it's not like it's not connected directly to what's going on here and below. The body's one continuous structure that's completely interactive and everything affects everything. So it's very often then when there's issues in the head and neck, that there's also muscular and skeletal issues here in the shoulder area, upper back area. So those muscles, again, can help loosen up that whole area, because again, that's where people tend to develop that tension from that, sustained contractions and doing that computer work all day long. Now what we're going to do is show you at home how you can create that same process. So what I would recommend that you do is you get not a thick, but more of a thin towel, something, even a scarf or a bandana, that can be small enough and thin enough to go to each segment on the spine, because now I'm going to have Serene do the same thing to herself that I did with my thumbs and fingers. So this is for you people at home to be able to do. So again, she's going to put a forward pressure forward on that towel and start to extend her head and neck back up towards the ceiling, using that towel to stabilize her cervical spine in the same way my thumbs were doing it when I was doing it here for her in the office. So again, you at home, you're trying to create a stability back here by holding fast on that towel. So each segment as you go is going to start to get mobilized and be moved into restructuring that C curve, or the normal posture of the head and neck. And as you can see, as Serene is going up her spine, the segments, her direction of stability is starting to change. So in the lower part of her neck, she was kind of coming straight ahead on a horizontal plane, but as she's getting higher, she's bringing the angle up that she's holding further and further back. And that's very important, be able to do that to help get that C curve, because again, each segment of the spine has a little bit of a different angle. And again, we're trying to take a straight spine and move it back into that normal curved spine. So again, we're taking it from more of a dysfunctional situation, being straight, into a more functional situation. I have found over the years too, that through movement, it's the best way to remold, the body in terms of mobility, stability, function, and in this case, posture. So anybody that suffers from neck tension, headaches, upper back and shoulder tension as a result of long periods of sitting, definitely recommend using this towel trick on a regular basis to help unwind that tension that builds up and to prevent it from happening moving forward. It's a very simple thing. You can do it for 30, 40 seconds at a time, and it helps to reestablish again that normal curve and then takes all that tension out. So how do you feel now, Serene?
I feel way better. I loosened up too. Just gotta get you to do something over here, maybe with the.
Okay, so she already wants some more treatment for later.
That's amazing. I love it. Well, you must have a very healthy and physically fit office, right? You take care of everybody.
Yes, it's important because, my lifestyle has really shaped my work style. And so I'm also trying to influence not only my patients, but the staff here, because they have to be the supporting people to help people that maybe don't know about some of these things and represent it. You have to walk the walk and talk the talk. So I have to live this lifestyle so I can be better at not only having the credibility of bringing it, but having personal experience to be able to tell patients how it's impacted my life, especially, after having many injuries starting at a very young age, with ruptured disc, broken neck, dislocated shoulder. I've never had surgery for these things. But all these little things I invest in each day and things that I've learned to help my patients invest in themselves are to help everybody, regardless of what's happened to them, have a pain-free, functional lifestyle. And I'm just 2 weeks shy of my 60th birthday, so these investments are more and more important because, quality of life for me is a very, very important thing.
You know what? It really is. And I love that you're walking the walk and talking the talk and setting the example for yourself, for your team, for the community. That's what this show is all about, is teaching us these laws, giving us tools to live healthier. So thank you, Dr. Lipman. You are amazing.
Thanks, Blanca. And again, really appreciate the ability to share this information because it's really little value if there are people out there that can benefit from it and are not getting it. So even though these people might not all get to walk into this office, I want to provide that value. And for your Life Network, it provides me that ability to do so, to reach people all over. So that's one of the really great benefits of technology and sharing education and information in ways that, we never could before.
100%. And everyone, Dr. Lipman's QR code's on screen. You can easily take a picture of that and have his entire link tree, or you can just check out his link tree and visit him. You can also call him at 674-1217. He will also provide a complimentary 30-minute Zoom if you want to meet with him and just get a preliminary assessment of what issues you may be facing right now. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you again, Dr. Lipman, and both of you. Thank you so much, Serene. Thank you for being the model of the day. You are amazing.
Thank you, Blanca.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Everything you do is incredible. You guys have an incredible office. I love coming to visit you. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next Thursday at 11 a.m.
Bye, guys.